Today we have the drive-in theater. What's shown on the screen is nothing but raw sex and violence.
To avoid fainting, keep repeating. It's only a movie. Only a movie. Only a movie.
Good evening, freaks and ghouls, and welcome to B-Movie Drive-In. We do hope you will enjoy today's podcast.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to B-Movie Drive-In. I am your host, Zach Bryant, and today we are back with the chopping block. In case you're new, we've only had one episode of this, but essentially the chopping block is when Josh, Andy, myself, or a combination of us three will get together and review a movie. This week's film is Robert Eggers' 2019 film, The Lighthouse. So just to kind of give a little bit of forewarning, this is very much an experimentation thing for me. I've never done solo casting before. I'm not even really sure how to go about this properly to keep it interesting. But one of the things I thought would be really important here is to me not read off a script. I have notes, but I want it to feel more natural, like a conversation. I'm still going to edit this to get out a lot of the ums because I'm a very ummy person. Beyond that, I'm going to try to just let this free flow a little bit. So without further ado, let's get on to our feature presentation.
Tell me, what's a timberman want with being a wiki?
Just looking to earn a living, just like any man. Starting new.
On the run. Keeping secrets, are you?
No, sir.
Why don't you spill your beans? Why don't you spill your beans? Why don't you spill your beans? How long have we been on this rock? 5 weeks? 2 days? Help me to recollect.
There will not be spoilers through the main part of this. If I do decide to discuss something in the film that has potential to have spoilers, I'll put it at the end. I don't think that'll be an every time thing. And I'm going to try my best not to discuss anything here because I think a lot of films work best the less you know, the better. Robert Eggers kind of came into the horror scene, not kinda, he really did, with his 2016 film, The Witch, a New England folktale. Just like this film, it was divisive. I know so many horror fans who love and hate that film. For me personally, The Witch is absolutely easily my favorite film of the decade. And there's a possibility, in all honesty, that this movie may beat that out. I adore The Lighthouse. It is not an easy film. It's a lot like The Witch. I think it's even going to grow on me even more. I remember in 2016 when I was doing my rankings, I had The Witch like 4th or 5th. It's just one of these things that just sticks with you and you have such a hard time figuring out your actual feelings on the film that you just kind of start setting it aside. But every single day, it just keeps coming back to you, the forefront of your mind. You just keep on thinking about it. And The Lighthouse, for me, was just like that, times 10. I think I thought about this movie about a week straight. Every day I thought about it more and more, and I think it's because ultimately I left the theater insanely confused. While that can so easily sound like a negative thing, saying I didn't fucking understand anything. In a lot of ways, I didn't understand this, but it was an enjoyable confusion, if that makes any sense. It's like, I know there's something there. This isn't confusing as it's convoluted or confusing as it was badly written. What made this enjoyable is you can tell how tightly written it is, and you just want to go and rewatch it so you can just try to understand more about it. One thing the movie does so well, and I think this is what makes you feel so disoriented and confused, is our perspective is with Robert Pattinson's character. And I'm going to refer to them just by their actors' names because ultimately I think the revelation of their character names is very important to the story and to their characters, that I'm just going to say Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe. So we're in the perspective of Robert Pattinson's character, and we'll see things happen. Sometimes they're weird, sometimes they don't make any sense, but we see them happen. And in a lot of ways we believe what he believes, or even moments where he's like, that didn't happen, that was in my head. We understand that because we're in his shoes. What feels so disorienting is we'll have Willem Dafoe, who we're not tagged with, tell us events happen differently. And the whole time you're trying to figure out, well, who is telling the truth? Or is our narrator telling us the truth? Is Robert Pattinson? Or is Willem Dafoe telling him the truth and he doesn't know that? Ultimately, you leave this movie feeling very gaslit. Don't even know what to trust. And I think that is so difficult to pull off properly. And it's great to see how well Eggers does it here. I think one thing that's really important to go over is, as mentioned before, how divisive The Witch is and how divisive this film is. This isn't going to be for everyone. Not everyone's going to be able to enjoy this film. And in many ways, I don't enjoy this film. But I love it. I absolutely love it. It almost feels like this weird Stockholm syndrome. Like, it stays in my head so much, I've just fallen in love with it. I would say if you didn't like The Witch, there's a very small chance you'll like this. It's definitely very different, and I can even see people who really, really love The Witch still not liking this one. The Witch, in comparison, feels very approachable compared to The Lighthouse. This one is like Eggers saying, look, I got enough people to like The Witch. Now I'm going to do all these things that just aren't accessible to everyone. You know, not everyone likes black and white films. Not everyone likes everything in a 1.33 ratio. And those things I'll get back to in a second. I don't like films where I can't really understand either character that well. So there's definitely a lot of reasons to dislike this film if those things just aren't your thing. And they're not going to be everyone's. Me, I'm a period piece junkie. I like weird shit. I like having an experience. I kind of want to feel kind of fucked up after I finish a movie. Like, I want it to really dig its claws into me. And The Lighthouse does that. It's not a comfortable film. It does weird stuff that I could see someone laughing at just because it's so odd. I found myself laughing at this film. It's purposely a dark comedy in a lot of ways. Robert Eggers directs his characters very well. Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson have so much chemistry in this film. It's ridiculous. They were a pair I didn't really think much about, but watching this, neither one of them to me outshines the other. And you're talking about Willem Dafoe, who to me is a top 5 actor working today. He is fantastic, and I really appreciate them getting someone like Pattinson, who really kept up with him really well. I will say Dafoe probably does a little bit better in the acting department, only because there's a couple moments where Pattinson's accent comes out and you can hear it when he's like really into a scene. But it's such a small nitpick, and that will honestly be my only nitpick of the wow, I really can't say that. It will be my only nitpick of the film. Jesus Christ, that took 4 tries. It's such a small thing, and I'd rather have this great performance than him be 100% faithful to that accent, because the accent they're putting on is thick, it's difficult, but it really sets the scene for where we're at. I honestly can't wait till I get the Blu-ray, hopefully 4K, cross your fingers, of this film. Finally get to put on subtitles. I remember going back to The Witch. I think the reason it jumped from 4 to 1 was when I was able to sit at home and throw on subtitles and really take everything in. Those little things I missed can add so much to a film. And I think the same thing will happen here. Now, the thing I will give Eggers so much credit for on both of these films is, even though I can go through a whole minute of not quite understanding everything that's said because of how thick the accents are, his visual storytelling is fantastic. I still know what's going on, even if I can't get all the little nuances of the film. If you've never seen a black and white film, like, people who are a little bit hesitant to see black and white. Like, you're kind of open to it, but you're kind of hesitant. Seriously, go see this on the big screen, just to see if you like to do it. Because black and white, while it has this old feeling to it, can absolutely look beautiful. In this film, honestly, I think putting in a color would do it a disservice, because what the black and white's able to do is, our main focal point is this lighthouse, the light specifically of the lighthouse. We're able to get those shades of shadow so well because the light and the dark contrast. And what I also like in using the 4:3 or 1:3, however you want to say it, aspect ratio, where it looks kind of squarish, like it fit one of your old tube TVs. What that's able to do is really make you feel claustrophobic in this thing. But what I also like is kind of like how it was done in last year's First Reformed, is you're able to get that symmetry. That symmetry almost like, it kind of puts you at ease in a way, like it makes you almost feel comfortable. But something about it also makes you feel uncomfortable, like it's unnatural, like life isn't symmetrical, so why is this symmetrical? So it kind of works on both levels. If anything I've said has made you a little bit more curious about the film, or it's given you a little bit, it sounds like something you'd be more interested in seeing, I definitely recommend seeking out a theater that's currently playing it. I want to say it's open to about 1,000 screens now, so hopefully within a town or a city near you that's not as far as I had to drive. I drove out the 3 hours to see it, but hopefully you don't have to do that. And you can go see this on the big screen. It's a beautiful film. Even if you don't end up liking it, I think it's going to be one of those films that's going to be really talked about. I'm really hoping it's going to, I'm sad to say it probably won't be nominated for Best Picture, because God forbid a genre film get nominated for Best Picture. Really would like to see Willem Dafoe in the conversation for Best Supporting Actor. While it's kind of hard to pick a main character in this film, I think he fits the supporting actor character better just because we're in the shoes of Robert Pattinson's character. So I'd love to see that. The score is fantastic. I actually, just about everything in this film is fantastic. I feel like it's one of those things, I'm really just blowing this film for, it seems like, going on like 11 or 12 minutes. So I don't want to do that too much. I just really want to give you an idea of what this film is, because I think that's important. I love this film. I think people who appreciate weirdness in cinema want to see something just different. This movie will deliver that. It's different. Even if you don't like what it comes up with, I don't think anyone can call this movie cliche or poorly written or poorly directed or not interesting. But I can definitely say it may not be everyone's cup of tea. So if you go see it or you have seen it, please, communicate with us on Facebook. Let us know what you think. What were your thoughts on Robert Eggers' second film, The Lighthouse? Well, that's all I got for you guys. You can find stuff we are doing on our Facebook pages, on the B-Movie Drive-In and Braden Ed Network. We have some new projects in the works, including a new segment with me and Andy that we're getting the details buffed out now, but I think you guys will really enjoy it. It's kind of difficult for all three of us to get together consistently with our schedules, and we want to try to put out some different segments to keep the content just more consistent. But personally, I really enjoyed this. I'm bored and I'm going to talk about this anyway, and at least I know the computer will listen to me, since I think my girlfriend's really tired of hearing me talk about The Lighthouse at this point. So expect to hear some more solo cast and casting with the other guys on new releases. I recently saw Parasite, so I want to get a review out for that fairly soon, so look out for that. All the links to our Facebook pages and other social media will be down in the show notes if you want to check out what we're doing and what we're up to. But guys, that's it. I hope you all have a good night, and I'll see you later.